And we are live. So, a warm welcome to each and everyone. And today we bring you two new great topics and seasoned guest speakers, definitely, to share not just their knowledge, but also their experience as well and their field of expertise, definitely. And thank you for looking forward for this event. For those who haven't joined in yet and just watching on live, you can join in our Zoom interaction to interact directly with our guest speakers. If you're only watching on the live section, please feel free to comment your questions or additional inputs. And yeah, we hope you enjoy and absorb the new learnings that our Let Us Talk at Zipinar will bring you today. So, a short history we call Let Us Talk It Zipinar, not a webinar, because we try to zip in two topics in one session, just to sort in your time in joining into this informational platforms, but also broadening the information that you get in one go. So I know everyone is busy working in this hour, especially in different time zones. So my name is Phil, and this webinar is brought to you by Cogent Integrated Business Solutions. So they're an IT company based in Detroit, Michigan, who wishes to give back to the community using a free knowledge sharing platform. For those anyone who wanted to share their knowledge and expertise and experience as well, here's the best platform for you to exercise, like the willingness for you in terms of sharing knowledge. And for the first topic, we will introduce to you today. We have how to stay productive in the age of distractions. So there are cases we easily get distracted. And in this session, we'll dive into what distracts us and what to do about it. And we'll also discover how to be more productive and have enough time to do the things that you love. And for this topic, we have Renee DeCone, president and owner of Mustard Seed Consulting, INC, and an accomplished leader, entrepreneur, and consultant with a passion for driving organizational change and helping individuals and companies achieve their full potential with a background in industrial psychology, business, and economics. And she will bring unique blend of expertise in consulting, coaching, and development to her work. And without further ado, let me present to you the president and owner of Mustard Seed Consulting. For the first topic, Renee DeConning, please take over.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be on this planet. Let's kick this off. I'm going to share my screen. And thank you, Folja, for that great introduction. All right. So, Folja, can you confirm you can see my screen?
Yes, your screen is visible.
Awesome. Okay. So we're talking about productivity in an age of distractions. And I'll also very briefly share some strategies with you that you can immediately take to take control of your time. So in the chat box, type in one example of a distraction you commonly experience. We'll give you a couple of seconds to do that. Oh, yes. Well, John, I've had coworkers like that, where they talk so loudly, the whole block can hear them. Social media, smartphones, yes, absolutely. We are living in the age of distractions. So let's move on. We are going to play a game. If you had printed out the form that looks something like this, we are going to use it now, and this is how you will use it. Please flip the the forms face down in front of you. And let me just get to where I need to be. All right. And this is what you will do. When I give you the go ahead, you will flip that page, the first page over, and you will start circling numbers 1 through 22. No peeking, no cheating, and you have to do them in order. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 until you get to number 22. If you do get to 22, keep on going. So, but there is a little catch. There is a 30-second time limit. I promise you, this is doable. So if everybody is ready, you can start now. So you've started, and I am just to make sure that you can keep up with the time. I will keep telling you, you have 6 seconds have gone, and just keep you updated that we're heading to 10 seconds. So keep going because you're halfway, almost halfway there. Yep, there we go. 15 seconds gone. You're halfway there. Keep going because you're heading to 20 seconds. You're 2/3 of the way there. You're doing great, but just keep going. And as we go, 4, 3, 2, 1, and stop. All right. So I am wondering, and please do type into the chat, how many did you get? Paul John smiling. He's like, that was not fair.
It's not
5.
good. I only
Great
got
job,
5.
Paul John. Anybody else try this? 3. Good job. All right. So what was missing, right? I mean, sure, this is an easy task, but 2 main things were missing, or 2 main things impacted how effective and productive you were in this exercise. One is you didn't know the pattern. You didn't understand. There was no organization, no planning. You couldn't say where what was, and you had to go hunt for it. The second is, of course, my annoying interruptions. So right there shows you, and if any of you were not impacted by the interruptions, let me know, because you would be quite unique. But right there is the topic of our discussion today. So do you want to try that again? And now I will tell you what to do. Take your page, and I've got the same page, it's just blurred, and fold it in half, hot dog style. Open it up and fold it in half, hamburger style. Everybody with me? Paul John, you're able to follow? Okay. Open it up and you have 4 quadrants. The first, number 1, there's number 1, very handily already circled. But number 2 is in quadrant 2. How easy is that? Number 3 is in quadrant 3, and number 4 in quadrant 4. And then you repeat the pattern, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And so you go until you get to 22 or beyond. So ready to do that again? And then we'll see how much more productive you are. And again, when I give you the go-ahead, you will flip the page over and you will start. And this time, I'm not going to interrupt you. So 1, 2, 3, start. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1, and stop. Okay, I would love to know how much better you all did. So type in the chat box how you did this time. How many you were able to circle. Nice, Phil John. 23, Dom. Wow. Nice job. All right. So I think I make my point, right? Let's move on and get to the meat of our presentation today. Get my computer moving. Okay. So, what happens when we're distracted? And I'm sure many of you have experienced this. And we've just seen it, right? We take longer to complete a task, even a simple task like circling numbers on a page. We lose interest because our attention is scattered. We lose focus. We get annoyed because we keep getting interrupted and distracted. We can even get anxious. Um, and sometimes our distractions interrupt our distractions. And we never go back to what we originally planned to do. Transition time. Remember this, because once you're distracted and you do something else, it takes just a couple of seconds, can sometimes take minutes to get back to where you were. If you're working on a complex spreadsheet, for instance, and you have somebody interrupts you, you come back and you're like, oh my gosh, I can't remember where I was. Maybe I have to start over. Some of you may have experienced that. And then we perceive that we can multitask. Our brains don't do well with that. Our brains like to serial task. So they like to do one thing at a time. So while you're distracted, you're focusing on something else and you're not focusing on the thing that you were originally supposed to be doing. So what can we, oh, let me introduce myself. Full John did a great job, but here I am. I'm an author. I've been featured on the Face of Community and Business podcasts. I'm a profitability consultant. I'm an executive coach. I do leadership training. So I train leaders to be better leaders. And my background is in global strategic marketing. So from all of that, you can probably see, and also, from who I am not AI created. I would have been much prettier if I was. So let's move on. What do we do then about time? So we can't talk about uh, interruptions and productivity if we don't talk about time. So sometimes we might feel, and sometimes because of interruptions, that time is just flying. We're moving from one thing to the next, or we're getting constantly interrupted, and it feels like the day is just gone within a split second. Sometimes we get bored and the day just drags, and we're looking for a distraction. But the real culprit here, and these are American statistics. I'm sure that for those of you in different countries, you can probably go seek your own stats. But boy, we on average look at our phones 144 times a day. That is staggering. And just think of, so I did the math, I just did an 8-hour work day and I cheated a little bit and divided that by 144. That's just over every 3 minutes in a work day. You're not getting much work done, right? And then a few more stats. But this little device, let me not be advertisement for a brand, this little device has taken over our lives and is one of the major reasons for our distracted life today. If you just look at the top here, 89% of Americans check their phones within the first 10 minutes of waking up. I find myself sometimes still lying in bed and checking my phone. And again, we start the day distracted. So what do we do? Oh, and then of course we have our daily efforting, whatever needs to be done, where we're having to do work and home and school and kids and travel and busyness, and we are overwhelmed. And then we procrastinate because we have so much going on, we don't even know where to start. And then we go to that little guy over there again. We go and get distracted on our phones or on a device. And at the end of the day, we fall into bed and we are exhausted because these distractions drain our energy. So, what can we do about it? Let's first understand what time is. We cannot borrow time. We cannot hoard it. We cannot even work harder to earn more of it. We're all issued with only 24 hours in a day. If you have more, let me know. We can make money out of you. All you can do is invest the time you have. So, what you get in return for your time invested is your effectiveness in using your time capital. Your productivity is a direct measure of how wisely you invest your time. So let that sink in a little bit. So if you only have 24 hours in a day, how are you investing the time that you are gifted with every single day? So I'm going to share with you a very simple 4-box matrix. It's called the Eisenhower matrix, and I won't go into detail, but it has been around for a long time. Do not let the simplicity of it fool you. It's very effective. And you'll see there at the top, we have urgent and not urgent. And down the side, we have important and not important. So if we're working on something that is urgent and important in quadrant 1, let's look what is happening. This is our quadrant of crisis. It is a problem. It's imperative that it gets resolved, and we have to act now. It is most often we react or we are reactive in the moment because it's something external or even within ourselves that compels us that this must be done right now. I'm sure many of you have been in this situation. At work, at home, now is when it needs to be done. But what happens in our second quadrant, where it is the task is still important, but it is not urgent. So there's not such a big time crunch on that task. Well, this is the money quadrant. This is the quadrant of opportunity where success, results, effectiveness live. This is where we can be proactive and do the things we want to do ahead of time. This is where we prepare, where we plan, where we prevent, build relationships, delegate, and train. So this is the quadrant where we get the most done. So what about quadrant 3 here? This is actually my favorite quadrant, and I'll show you in just a couple of minutes why that is. This is called the quadrant of deception because it is seemingly urgent, but it is not important. And I can just go on and on here about some of the things that can go in there, but this is essentially busy work. It's reactive work, and it's stuff that keeps us busy. We think we're busy, but we're not really being productive, producing something of value. And then quadrant 4, which is not urgent and not important, we call that the quadrant of irresponsibility or time wasters. Now, if you've ever found yourself on your device and you've started to watch funny cat videos, and before you know it, an hour and a half has gone by. That is what this is. That is quadrant 4. Also, when we start going through news and to the doom scrolling and, oh my gosh, the world's blowing up. Stop, stop. So where are you spending most of your time? Give that a second of thought and maybe type in the chat box just very briefly where you spend most of your time. Maybe number 1 and number 2. sport and work. That sounds good. I would say that would maybe fall in the quadrant of opportunities. Right, Nohelia? All right, but what can you do about it? If you're constantly in crisis, often in deception, and sometimes in irresponsibility, what can you do to get more done in your day? So, how do you take back control? The key here is to prioritize. What are the imperative things that you need to do in the day? Make a list of those, because those are the things that have to be done. Otherwise, your world blows up. And then, what are the important things that need to get done? And now you can see why I like the quadrant of deception, because this is where you find the most time that you are spending unwisely, or where the distractions are impacting you. Because the fix for the quadrant of deception, there are three things that you can do. You can simplify the task. So let's just take housework, cleaning the floors. Well, you could probably get one of those electronic floor cleaners that would save you several hours, maybe. You can eliminate it altogether, or you can delegate it. So this is where time saving lives, is in quadrant 3. And then, of course, quadrant 4, where we find those time wasters, where we're constantly on these guys, that's where we can find some more time, that where distractions impact how effective we are. So what? What do we do with this information? Well, here's some handy hints about what you can do every single day to make your day more organized. So at the beginning of the day, take 5 to 10 minutes to plan and prioritize each day according to your 4 quadrants. Use your electronic calendar or a planner, or I just use a simple notebook. And I say imperative, important, and then if I have anything else that falls into the deception category, I sort of leave it for a time when I have the time to do it. Manage your emails. One of the biggest distractions is when that little envelope pops up at the bottom of our screen. And take 10 to 20 minutes every morning just to organize your emails, review what you have, and focus on those that need immediate attention. Back to prioritization. And then those that might take longer and that are not as urgent. And then 2 to 3 times during the day, go back to your emails. Not every time the notification pops up. Unless, of course, your job is driven by emails. Then you have to still prioritize those emails that are coming in. Review all your scheduled commitments, appointments, and action items for the day. Add them to your priority list, imperative, important, and deception, and adjust as required. Maybe something that wasn't urgent yesterday, imperative yesterday, is imperative today. So remember to check that. Organize and group your communication in a planful manner. So if you've got to make a bunch of calls, do them all in a block of time. If you've got to send out a bunch of emails, do them all in a block of time. Instead of going from one email to doing a task to sending a text to making a phone call, going back to email, etc. You are less productive because remember the transition time. And here's the part that I really like. Close out each day. Record your accomplishments for that day. So check them off, whether it's on your electronic calendar or on a piece of paper. Check off what you've done today. That gives you already a sense of accomplishment, and transfer anything incomplete or something that you haven't started to your next day. and start tomorrow's priority list: imperative, important, and deception. And that, oh, some stats. Yes, the stats show us that 1 minute of planning will get you 4 to 10 minutes saved in execution. That results in 30 minutes a day saved, which gives you 22 8-hour days a year. So there's your vacation right there. How will you spend your time? And I know Full John's probably telling me, move it along, move it along. So I will just tell you, coaching is your opportunity to take your life from good to great. And again, I am Renee de Kooning. My business is mustardseedconsulting.com, and there are my contact details. So that is it from me. And if there are any questions, Fuljan, do you want to keep those for the end of the session so that
Yes.
Rebecca can go? Okay.
Yes. Yeah, because as you can see in the background, Rebecca is an educator and has a class in the next few minutes, definitely, and I would love to hear her topic as well. Like the topic Renee has shared might take definitely long. Like it's very, it's a great not information to to listen, and I'd love to listen more. But definitely, we will be disobeying the rule of the Zipinar. So we will have the second topic, and if there are any additional inputs or inquiries, as Renee will still be with us. So we'll take the second topic right now, and then we'll move along. So park your questions for now or your insights, then save it for later. All right. So let me just introduce shortly the second topic that we have today, which is about sustainable success, conquering the unspoken mental health challenges of entrepreneurship. So this will talk about like 72% of entrepreneurs struggle with mental, emotional, and social health. So as our speaker is a former burnt out award-winning marketing consultant, turned mental well-being consultant, and also this is a great webinar for you to explore. And this session will deliver essential strategies to help you sustain your success by preventing or managing burnout, combating imposter syndrome, and safeguarding your joy and fulfillment, health, relationships, and success. And to deliver this topic is a mental well-being business consultant, speaker, educator, and a workshop facilitator. And her name is Rebecca Bitten. And aside from that, also, she has a background as a former president of Hope, plus Me Speaker Bureau. And Rebecca has addressed influential audiences, including the OPSEU and Sunnybrook Hospital, advocating for inner success as a prerequisite for sustainable external achievements. And without further ado, here's Rebecca Bidden for the second topic that we have for today.
Hi everyone. Thank you so much for having me, Phil John. It's really great to be here. It's always really fun to educate entrepreneurs. A lot of what I will be sharing with you is something that's really not talked about. I know that you saw in my introduction, as Phil John was saying, 72% of entrepreneurs do suffer from mental health challenges, but we never actually hear about that. We always hear about how important it is for us to be productive, to be managing our time, a topic that you just heard with Renee. But I want to share with you something that's not talked about and the incredible importance it is for us to maintain our mental and emotional and physical well-being when we go through this entrepreneurship journey. So if you do consider yourself an entrepreneur, say the word yes in the chat if you consider yourself an entrepreneur or a business owner. So if you're an entrepreneur or a business owner, type the word yes in the chat. I just want to know how many people here are on that journey of building their businesses, scaling their businesses, and really working on sustaining their success. So I really wanted to bring this topic home because, as you've heard with myself, I had, and I still have my consultancy for about 10 years. I've been helping entrepreneurs really become the authority on their expertise so that they can actually attract clients. And then we don't have this feeling of constantly chasing clients, hustling for clients, which can really, really, really take a toll on our mental and emotional well-being, which in fact actually can lead to burnout, which can actually take us out of the game completely. So today I wanted to get a little practical for you guys. I will be sharing with you a 5-step process that you can use at any time during your day or in the evening, because as entrepreneurs, we don't really have a 9 to 5, right? Our days are constant. Our weekends are constant. We're always hustling. But I want to tell you a little bit about my story. So today we're going to be looking at, I just want to make sure everyone can see my screen. Let's just see here. Okay. Let me just see if this is a better way to present it. All right, guys. Just a quick second. Okay. I'm having some trouble sharing my screen here. Sorry. Why is it not sharing the right screen? I have the audience window open. I'm just trying to make sure that you guys can see that. Can everyone see my screen?
Yes, it is visible now.
Okay, perfect. Excellent. So I wanted to give you guys some quick tools. Now, this is not going to be something you've ever seen before, okay? We normally look at P's, when we look at the 5 P's of entrepreneurship, it's usually something like productivity, prosperity, positivity. We tend to learn those P's a lot. But we haven't learned the P's that I'm going to be going through. And these are the P's that are actually going to get you to be sustainable in your success. So no more roller coaster, no more emotional roller coaster. So my name's Rebecca, as you know. I've been a brand consultancy owner for about 10 years. I went through my own form of burnout, which actually afforded me a month's stay in a hospital. And in this experience, I learned the critical nature of taking care of our bodies, minds, and emotions, which is never actually given as much emphasis as it needs to be. We are always being told that it's important to hustle. We're always being told that it's important to fill up every moment of our day with some kind of productivity. So I'm actually happy that we went through Renee's presentation, because she is showing us to be productive. And I'm showing you how to stay productive by actually preserving your energy, protecting your energy so that you don't burn out. Because as we found, a great portion of entrepreneurs will burn out in the first couple of years. So these are going to be some strategies that will take you out of that. So like I said, when I was a hustling, bustling consultant, making $10,000, $12,000 months in revenue, everything was great. And these are the P's that I thought mattered the most: positivity, plans, productive, persistence, perseverance, power, and prosperity. That's all I cared about, right? But what ends up happening is we actually lose the joy of what we're here to do. We lose the joy of our purpose. We lose the joy of the actual thrill of being an entrepreneur, which is that we're constantly learning, we're constantly growing. And so I wanted to actually transform those P's into P's that are actually more conducive to your well-being. So starting off, my first P is pause. Okay. So it seems kind of counterproductive to pause. A lot of us think, oh, I don't have time for a break. When we do have that break, we may be doing something, like scrolling through our phones, but we're not actually taking a real time out. Here's why this is so valuable. Whenever we invite moments of silence and presence, We actually cure our overwhelm, which prevents our stress buildup. We reconnect to our intention and purpose, because quite frankly, if we're rushing from meeting to meeting to meeting, we're actually carrying over all of our stress from one meeting to the next, which means that we actually lose our intention and we lose our purpose. Everything that needs to be done as an entrepreneur needs to be purposeful, because if it isn't, we do get into that distracting, busy work that Renee was talking about. We're busy, but we're not actually providing any value. And in order for us to actually provide value that we ourselves can be fulfilled and proud of, we need to be attached to our purpose and our intention for everything that we get into. So anytime you get into a meeting, anytime you get into a phone call, anytime that you have to have an interaction with a prospect or a stakeholder, ask yourself, what is the intention? And if you're feeling overwhelmed, I actually make sure that I have a buffer time between my different engagements, which I have tons of. And that is for me to actually pull back. You can see how she's kind of holding her heart center. This is what I do. I breathe into my chest. I allow my chest to expand. I hold it for 5 seconds. When I inhale, I exhale for 5 seconds. And this really allows you to not only preserve your energy, but it actually empowers you. This is something that we call mindfulness. When we're actually really grounding into that moment, it helps us cure overwhelm. It helps us to prevent burnout. We realign with our intention and purpose, which means that everything that we walk into is now a lot more effective. And we can also have these moments just to think. I used to work with an incredible executive business consultant who would actually block out time just to think. He called it his thinking time. And it was in this time, and this is actually something that even Google did in their own ways of maintaining their work culture. They actually have these breaks in order, because they know that when we do have those pauses without electronics, without anything, just sitting with ourselves and breathing, we actually come up with incredible ideas. There's been a number of incredible ideas. Creativity is super, super at the forefront of our minds when we actually shut everything out. So sometimes that means closing the door in your office, giving yourself a few, just 5 minutes to breathe, right? And it promotes clarity. It cleans out our mind and our bodies, and it helps us to actually fill our cup in a very small amount of time so that we can get into our next meeting or our next interaction that much more effectively and intentionally. The next P I want to talk to you about is, of course, presence. Okay. So presence is huge. Okay. I have seen entrepreneurs that are very effective, but they are not present, which means that when they're in a meeting or when they're in an interaction or when they're engaging in a task, they're already thinking about 10 minutes from now, an hour from now, the client call that we have later this afternoon. Maybe it's the argument they had in the morning with their spouse, and they're not actually in the present time. Okay. I can tell you from a mental health point of view, anxiety, depression, overwhelm, stress, imposter syndrome, almost any of the woes that entrepreneurs deal with actually happen because we are not in the present moment. We are either rushing into the future or we are regretting the past. Maybe we said something that we didn't want to say in that last meeting, and now we're ruminating about it. So this is a huge problem. First of all, it takes away our focus and attention, which, as we saw, is super important. But it also decreases the quality of time that you have. Okay. When you are not present, you are not being intentional and careful. So that means that a lot more mistakes can happen. A lot more missed opportunities can happen. And I always get the best feedback from all of my clients and stakeholders, because they know that every time that I'm here with them, I really, really am here with them. And that creates the quality time and the quality relationships that entrepreneurs so desperately want. We always feel like we need to compromise our relationships or our family time because of our businesses. But if we actually were to be present and mindful in those moments, we can actually cultivate and sustain our relationships and still be effective at work. So being present, one really great tip that I always like to use is if you find your mind is scattering, what I like to do is I'll actually take an inventory of my surroundings. So you could be looking at, what am I seeing? What am I feeling? What am I smelling? Getting back in touch with those sensory inputs will allow you to stay present. And it allows you to ground your thoughts into the present moment so that you can really make the most of the only time that you have to control, which is, of course, the here and now. So this leads to much more quality interactions, quality work. There's a much bigger prevention of any type of mistakes that can actually cause more time burdens and financial burdens down the line. Our next really important P that really allows us to, like I say, stay grounded when it is constantly, a flurry of different things that we need to be doing. There's one that I wanted to show you just before this one, which is process. So processing, okay? If you deal with any kind of conflict, any kind of confrontation, any types of emotions that are causing stress, we need to actually process those emotions. I know that in my story, a lot of the time, whenever I was kind of stressed out about something, I always kind of compartmentalized it and moved forward. We actually need some time to process. So one thing that I like to do at the end of the day is I sit and I journal and I think about all the observations, learning outcomes, and anything that I need to process. So this really allows us to assess and reassess any kind of conflicting emotions. We don't want to sidestep this because that is how we burn out. Burnout happens because there's a buildup. There's a buildup of stress. There's a buildup of frustration. And when we have this stress or emotional buildup, what ends up happening is it becomes heavy on us. We start to encounter physical symptoms. So it may be that we're feeling extra fatigued. We may be feeling irritable. We may be feeling frustrated. And it's because we're actually carrying the emotional burdens of what happened an hour ago into our present moment, which is actually causing more conflict and more confrontation, especially if you are a leader or somebody that supervises or runs a team. If you have not processed and expressed or addressed some emotions that you may have had earlier in the day, you're actually projecting all of those negative emotions into the rest of the day, which can actually, again, cause more confrontation. Or if you're the type of person that suppresses it, it actually does quickly lead to illness and burnout. And this is what we found. So processing our emotion means journaling about it, talking about it, addressing the issue. I do an amazing workshop that you can find on my website, which is all about self-advocacy, which is about handling tough conversations so that you can really process any conflict or confrontation or conflicting emotion that you've had so that you can really process it and kind of let it go so that it doesn't actually bleed into the rest of your day or into the way that you're interacting with your colleagues, coworkers, and clients. The next thing I wanted to talk to you about, which really, really helps us to manage this concept of imposter syndrome. So a lot of entrepreneurs talk about this imposter syndrome. I know that I felt it in my burnout story. And I found that what a lot of entrepreneurs and business owners forget to do is collect proof of your efficacy, collect case studies, collect, a lot of people collect testimonials, but I actually say collect proof, okay? Any results that you've had, any accomplishments, any milestones, anything that you've had in your day that you can be proud of, anytime that you had, a happy interaction with a client or a great call or anything like that. A lot of our business owners tend to forget that we don't need to just be doing our analytics every quarter. We actually need to be doing it every day. And the reason why I say this is because when we are celebrating our wins on a consistent basis, it gives us feelings of reward. And when we get that feeling of reward, it actually increases our gratitude. It makes us more joyful, which makes us into better leaders. And again, it really does help to enhance the quality of our interactions and relationships. So, and most importantly, in terms of conquering imposter syndrome, it actually helps to increase the quality of the relationship we have with ourselves. I have seen and worked with extremely high performing business owners who have very, very low self-esteem. Low self-esteem, imposter syndrome. They're incredibly accomplished, and yet they don't feel fulfillment out of any of it. Okay. If this is something that you can resonate with, give me a yes in the chat. But I know that for myself, it didn't matter the list of accomplishments I had. I never felt like I was good enough. Right. And that will not only just poison your business, but it will poison your health. And I can say this from experience working with tons of entrepreneurs for over a decade. We actually need to have that proof. I actually have what I call my hit list, where I list all the accomplishments that I've ever done. And that way, every time we have that feeling of doubt, or we have that feeling like, oh, maybe I'm not qualified, or maybe I can't do this work, or anything along those lines, we actually have a list of proof that we can not only use to prove to ourselves that we're worthy and valuable, but also to everyone around us, including new prospects as well. And this is great if you're an employee as well, right? Everybody wants to feel valued for their work, both for themselves and from others as well. And so having that list and having that proof will really give you that solid foundation for you to feel confident and to actually approach any potential conversations with your supervisors about maybe the prospect of maybe getting a raise or being given more responsibilities. We need to actually be proving it, and we need to own that authentic pride and celebrate our journey, because if we continue to move forward without taking a second to celebrate how far we've come, it is a very, very fast track to emotional burnout, which leads to physical burnout. So it doesn't matter how successful we are, if we're not appreciating our success, if we're not appreciating our progress, our momentum tends to die. And so does all of our motivation and our commitment to the mission that we laid out for ourselves and our business. So proving it to ourselves is just as important as proving it to other people. In fact, proving it to ourselves will allow us to get our last most amazing P of all, which is poise. Okay. When you have poise, that means you have quiet confidence in what you're able to provide in value to your clients, your customers, your colleagues, anyone else that you're serving. When you hone poise, like in my video with this woman, she's walking confidently. She is aware of her power. She is aware of her worth. She's not doubting it anymore. And when you own your value, you don't need to be pushing or hustling anymore, right? I know a lot of entrepreneurs, we think, no, we need to be productive. We need to be hustlers. We need to be constantly chasing the sale, right? It's a very, very different game when you can walk into a room and be very clear on who you help, how you help, and the results that you've garnered already. Once you have results and once you have that quiet confidence, you walk into situations in a much different way, and you actually start to attract a much higher level of respect, appreciation, and dignity from everyone around you. So it really takes you out of this constant insecure feeling that you have to prove yourself or prove that your business is valuable to parents, spouses, partners, people that may not understand your vision. But when you walk into a room with that quiet confidence, that emotional security, that inner peace, you end up having a much higher perceived value, because you don't have that spirit of being desperate. You don't have that spirit of being exhausted. And you don't have that spirit of being doubtful of what you can provide. which means that your value is perceived higher and your trustworthiness to other clients and prospects and stakeholders also seems to be higher. And not just for others, but it also allows you to combat any limiting beliefs that could be stopping you from reaching your full potential, any self-sabotage, any negative habits, okay? When we generate and have that poise and peace in ourselves, we're not running the hamster wheel anymore. We're not hustling. We're not chasing leads. And all of those activities, although it may be something that we glorify in today's hustle culture, they don't actually, they don't demonstrate a person that is secure and sure of the value that they bring and the immense contribution that their business makes on themselves, on their prospects, on their clients, and on the rest of the planet. So I want to just kind of take a moment and see if there's any questions or concerns. I know that this was like a pretty quick presentation. I kind of mentioned a lot of strategies, a lot of importance there as well. So I just wanted to quickly check in if anybody has any questions about these 5 Ps. So remembering that we had pause, okay, remembering to pause, remembering to be present, okay, remembering that we need to process our emotions before they build up, remembering to keep all of our social proof so that we can feel confident in ourselves on a consistent basis and have that win list so that we don't fall into the trap of doubt and despair when things get tough, as they normally do in the entrepreneurial world. And finally, we also have our poise. So we achieve this poise, this quiet confidence, this peace within ourselves, which really does attract a much higher level of value and an overall inner peace and empowerment in ourselves and in the people that we work with. I wanted to also just quickly let you guys know that in gratitude for your time today, I am offering my free power book for those of you. Now, normally I usually sell this, but I wanted to really thank you guys for coming out. And so I wanted to show you just my power book. So just so you know, I offer a lot of speaking engagements, workshops around advocacy, workshops around burnout prevention, imposter syndrome, all of the most important and key aspects that tend to plague our entrepreneurs on a mental health level. So I'll put that link in the chat. So my website, as you saw in my presentation, is beandbecomeconsulting.ca. And you can get your free power book, which contains habit trackers. It contains worksheets to help you actually ground yourself in your purpose. It also includes a lot of mindfulness exercises, everything you need to stay well, productive, and in line with your actual highest intentions and purposes for your business. So I hope that was helpful for you all. I hope you take these P's seriously and you really make sure that you are prioritizing your mental health and prioritizing the immense value that you have to share with the world. So thank you so very much. Again, my name is Rebecca Bitton, and I am the founder and CEO of beandbecomeconsulting.ca. We provide workshop courses, coaching, and resources, free and paid resources to help you stay on your game so that you can be sustainably well and sustainably successful. So thank you so very much to Phil John. Thank you so very much to our other speaker, Renee. And thanks to all of you for engaging in the 5 Ps of well-being for entrepreneurs. I'm Rebecca Bitton, and I will see you on the inside.
All right.
If you do have any other questions with regards to preserving your mental well-being as a business owner, I'm leaving my phone number there as well. You can also follow me on Instagram. It's just my first letter and my last name, I post reels and resources all the time to help you maintain that well-being so that you can cure overwhelm and actually live your business with joy and sustainability and ease. So those resources are available for you as well. If you want that free power book, it's really amazing. It's like both like a planner as well as a mental health guide. It's just the same as my website, which is beandbecomeconsulting.ca/power book. And you can go ahead and download that for free today. Thank you so much, everybody, and have an amazing rest of your hump day. I hope it's both productive and positive and fulfilling for you all. So the link, by the way, like I said, is beandbecomeconsulting.ca/powerbook, one word. So you can grab that power book. You just need to put in your email. Like I say, it has a number of different habit trackers, mood trackers. It has a lot of worksheets as well to help you process some of your negative emotions, any kind of thoughts that seem to be plaguing you, any types of limiting beliefs that could be holding you back from actually owning your power and owning your value, either as a business owner or even as an employee as well. It really is a power book for a reason. We really do call it that. So thank you so very much, everybody. And if you do have any questions, please let me know. Like I say, the link for the free resource is, like I say, beandbecomeconsulting.ca/powerbook. Okay. You can also just visit my website as well, beandbecomeconsulting.ca. And over there, I also have a number of different workshops, courses, resources. If you want to actually schedule a session with me, it's simply calendly.com/arbitten/consultation. So you can use that link as well if you want to actually book a session with me. Let me know what you're feeling, how you are doing in your business. If there's anything that's holding you back, if you feel like you're being held back mentally, emotionally, physically, or financially from reaching your ultimate potential, definitely click on the link in the chat to book a session with me. I want to get a little bit of a sense as to what seems to be putting you behind in your optimal well-being and into your optimal business and social performance as well. So those resources are there for you as well. And if there's anything else, like I say, you can always connect with me on LinkedIn, which is just my first and last name, Rebecca Bitton. Or like I say, I put in that link to book a consultation if you do want to have a free consultation and talk about where you're at in your business and how I can help you get to the next level sustainably and keeping your mental health and well-being in mind. So thank you so very much, everybody. And I am very grateful for this opportunity to host this webinar. I hope everyone has a wonderful rest of your day.
Yes, definitely. And thank you so much. And your topic that you've shared today is very timely. And this is a very helpful resource for those who are already in the entrepreneurship or about to enter the entrepreneurship journey. So here's the things that you need to look out for. And yeah, here's a good session of the webinar that you have to save as well, because both topics in this session will definitely be very helpful in terms of productivity. And yeah, so all the details are being shared. Aside from our speakers' free time and free knowledge today, definitely one of our speaker provided free resource. So just visit the links given. All right. So yes, Rebecca, in case you needed to drop off, definitely it's been a pleasure to have you as a
Yes,
guest
thank you so
speaker.
much. It's a pleasure to meet you as well, Renee. Great work. I love the interactivity of your workshop. Thank you, Phil John. Thank you, Noelia. I see that you're following me, so that's awesome. Sally, Sharon, Dom, it's a pleasure to present for you guys today. Have a wonderful rest of your day. I'll be signing off, and if you have any other questions, it's just beandbecomeconsulting.ca. Have a great one, everyone. Take care. Thank you.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Bye, Rebecca. Nice meeting you. Bye-bye.
Yes. So with that, all the details and things are promoted for our second speaker, and yeah, we leave for those anything that was part for the from the first topic, feel free to put it in right now. And for those who are watching live, in case you missed that part, definitely you can watch the recorded session as we will upload it on YouTube, and the links are verbally being shared there. So it's up to you to write it down, as we're not allowed to put links on YouTube. So okay. Uh, earlier we had comments from YouTube, and yeah, it was Ahmed who said that he believes all work is important and urgent, but there is a priority for arranging our work. All right, definitely.
I
So,
think I absolutely agree. And adding on to you're connecting this to Rebecca's talk, there's also priority in rest because
mhm,
we do not do that enough. So thinking back to her, the pause P that she shared with us, yes, sometimes we need to do that as well. And it becomes a priority and imperative.
yes, definitely, and that helps you recognize what are the distractions and what are the focused areas. So totally agree with that as well. So anything you'd like to promote? I do not see any questions or inputs as of right now, but
Okay.
yeah, definitely you have shared your links. Anything coming up or anything you are planning in the future? Feel free to share.
Yes, I am. I'm putting together an executive showcase or executive roundtable. There's so many different words for the same thing, where we'll be discussing business problems and business issues with leaders in business, any business. I'm agnostic. It doesn't matter who is interested, and just have a good open conversation where we help each other out around what are some of the things that businesses face in today's world, and how do others perhaps solve some of those problems. And then I will bring my expertise in facilitation, coaching, and leadership development into the room as well. And I know Rebecca offered something for free. My, sorry, I'm losing my voice. I offer a free 30 minutes introduction session to coaching. I do one-on-one coaching as well as group coaching. And if you're interested, my details are in the chat. Feel free to download them. And I would love to just meet with you, have a chat, and see where that leads. No
All right.
pressure. No pressure.
Definitely. And if you wish to drop Renee a message, just search her on LinkedIn. So just type what you're seeing on the screen. It's Renee DeConning, and send her a connection request or a message. Definitely. She's very responsive. So you'll definitely get your reply. And because some YouTube watchers may not be able to see the posted links. So yeah, it's
Okay.
better you send connection on LinkedIn, and yeah, send her a direct message. So, and where can they access updates on what you're forming up right now? Is it on your
That will
LinkedIn page?
probably appear on LinkedIn. Yes,
Oh,
I will probably share that on LinkedIn.
all right.
Um, Not this month, probably next month, towards the end of the month. Yes.
All right. So please do look forward for that one for those who are business owners in different fields. Yeah, send her a follow or connection invite to get updates of that consulting process. Alrighty. So I guess this is the end of today's session as we have concluded two wonderful topics with our generous guest speakers, very willing to share their time, their knowledge, their experience, and some of their services as well. And it's really a pleasure, a very great pleasure for our platform to be honored with this guest speaker's presence. And we do these webinars every Wednesday at 12 noon to 1 p.m. Eastern Time. And should you wish to be part of the one of the like be part of the guest speakers, please do let me know. I'm on LinkedIn as well. You can just look for my name on LinkedIn. It's Phil John Anthony Gonzalez, and let me know. Send me a message if you want to be a guest speaker. If you're interested in topics, like so you can suggest topics as well that we can cover, and we will look for the best speaker to handle the topic for you. So yes, and please do help us promote this free knowledge sharing platform as well. So a lot of people will be um, reached and also be involved in sharing best practices. So this is Phil, and this is the end of today's Let Us Talk at Zipinar, and hope to see you next Wednesday again as we bring you two new guest speakers and two new topics. So see you around.
Thank
All
you,
the best,
Phil.
and take care as always. Goodbye.
Thank you, Phil. Thanks, everybody. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye-bye.